Hello and welcome to Mac Stories Unwind. I'm John Voorhees, and with me is Federico Viticci. Hey, Federico.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm having a good day. I'm having a great day. It's the fall. I like the fall. It's a nice season, you know? Not so incredibly hot here, but
we still have some nice weather over here. It's been nice, yeah.
That's good. We've had a good week here. A little rain, but it's not too bad. How about what are we going to talk about, Federico? Besides the
John,
weather?
I'm bringing a surprise to the show today. Now this
Good.
show is
You haven't
audio.
done this in a while.
The show is audio only,
Yeah.
so that's gonna make this challenge of you trying to guess what I have here maybe a little more difficult. So I just grabbed my surprise.
Okay.
There's a box.
All right.
I'm banging my head on the box.
I can hear you holding a box.
I'm opening. Yeah. Any guesses so far? It's
Part
a big...
of me wants to guess that it's like a 6-pack of Diet Dr. Pepper that Chris Lawley sent you since we recorded an episode of App Stories with it for next week. No, I don't think so. I'm going to guess some sort of game controller.
Interesting. It is you're close. I would say you're close. Oh, this is quite uncomfortable to open without ruining the packaging, actually. How am I going to do this while I'm recording a podcast? We'll find out. Okay, maybe this way. So, as you can tell, it's a little more involved than the packaging of a controller. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, there's a white box inside.
All right.
Rectangular shaped. Let's see. Lots of paper. There's a power cable.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's something that plugs into power.
Right, not a controller then exactly.
Yeah, there's other cables that if I mention these cables, you're going to guess what it is. Okay, I'm going to try and make it easy for you, John. There is now a controller in my hands. There's now a controller. I'm holding a controller.
Oh.
That I just put on my desk.
You didn't get a PS5 Pro, did you?
Yes, I did.
I'm thinking to myself, what? Yeah, okay. I know you.
Yeah.
I know you pretty well, TG.
I'm literally doing this live. I'm holding the box of. Oh my god! I was dropping it on the floor. Okay, I'm good.
Don't drop your PS5. Come on,
Hold
that thing's
on.
expensive.
Well, I decided last minute to open this while doing Unwind. Okay.
I know.
Jeez, this thing is heavy. Oh my god. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, they are heavy.
The cardboard in this box is okay. All right. So, yeah, now I got the PS5 Pro in my hands.
You know what we have invented here? We have invented the audio-only podcast unboxing, which I don't think anybody has done because it's obviously it's a bad idea.
Where do you find that? So this thing is heavy. And slightly longer than my PS5 Slim. About the same size, really. Just heavy.
Okay. All right. But it's not a Slim, right? I mean, it's the...
This is a PS5 Pro. So it all started because I really wanted to try and get the PlayStation Anniversary Edition.
Yeah.
I couldn't on Sony's website. They were sold out within seconds. And so out of desperation, I texted, of course, my video game store guy from Viterbo. And I was like, hey, Marco, is there any chance you can get your hands on the anniversary edition of the PlayStation 5 Pro? And very quickly, he told me there is no way, even for you. Unfortunately, I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because Sony had no stock for retailers. It was just online only. So even through his contacts, he couldn't get one.
Yeah.
And then he was like, but if you're up for it, I'm getting a bunch of PS5 Pros. And so that got me thinking. I was like, initially I thought I'm not going to get a PS5 Pro. But then as I was watching the video previews and, everybody was basically, and especially Digital Foundry folks.
Yeah. I've been scared to watch that video.
Basically the consensus was, if you play on your couch and your TV is a couple of meters away from you, and you're not obsessed with performance, you're probably not going to tell the difference. The people who can tell the difference, and it's much more evident, is when you play really close to a monitor, when you play really close to the screen.
at a desk like you're doing.
And that sort of a light sort of went off in my brain. I was like, wait, I am one of those people now, because
right.
I moved my PS5 to my office about a month ago, and I've really enjoyed the experience, just having the PS5 with the sleep and resume here for like a 20-minute break if I want to play Astrobot or Call of Duty, whatever. I can do that, and so that sort of cemented this idea of like, well, I knew that I could sell my PS5 Slim easily, so I would make the money back, and I took that as an opportunity to sell my PS5, get the PS5 Pro instead, and it arrived today, this morning, in fact. But I literally just unboxed it, as you've heard, during Unwind. And this is the plan now. Is I'm just gonna keep the same cables that I did the cable management for, Ethernet, HDMI, and power. I'm just gonna detach my PS5 Slim and plug in the PS5 Pro, do the setup, and re-download all my stuff. And
it's a shame that you and I don't live closer together, because I would probably be your best customer for all of your cast-off electronics.
I have such a market between my friends here and kids at Sylvia's dance school.
Oh, interesting. The kids. Yeah, I never even think of that.
Yeah, teenagers that ask their parents for and these are like 19. Actually, no, not just teenagers, but like there's a huge market of like kids like 20 to 25 years old.
Sure.
Want to buy a used iPad, a used iPhone, a used console. That's how people think that I hoard everything. I actually sell everything, and that's the only way that I can test all the things I want to test, is to sell the previous ones. It's the secret. Like, just don't keep them, sell them. That's what I do.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. I mostly give mine to my kids, which is good. I mean, they have like all the electronics they want. On the other hand, I don't have any money coming in from them either, so. At least you're defraying the cost of the next thing a little bit as well. It's funny. I guessed pretty quickly, and I didn't even think of the fact that you sent me an Instagram video of your video store guy earlier today before we recorded this. That didn't even enter my mind, but he was showing off the PS5 Pro. So that was
probably mine before because this time he shipped it from Viterbo to Rome overnight. Oh. And he shipped it yesterday afternoon, and I got it this morning because
nice.
The plan was for my mom to visit this weekend, but she's not coming anymore. So I was like, my mom was supposed to bring it. Can you actually ship it to me? And I learned, in fact, this is going to be a problem for me going forward. That my friend Marco told me that it's been shipping stuff globally for a few years now. And I didn't know that. You can pay online. He's using Stripe. He ships everything. So
he's got it going on in that little shop in Viterbo. I could be his customer now.
Well, yes, you can be. Limited editions, collector's editions. He's got. Marco has everything. You name it, he's got it. Except for the anniversary edition of the PS5 Pro. So yeah.
Yeah, you can't blame him for that one, Federico. That thing was gone within 5 seconds. I mean, the demand was so high. I don't even remember how many they made. It was tied somehow to the date, I think, if I remember right. They produced like, it was a few thousand, maybe 5,000, 10,000. I don't even remember.
Yeah, but, I think that's right. Anyway, got a PS5 Pro. I'll set it up tonight, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on NPC at some point.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that the advice was to get it if you sit close to your PS5, because I don't. My PS5 is a good 3.5 meters from my couch. So
don't get it.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Okay. That being said, I also do have a couple of picks for this episode. First one is a TV show I never mentioned before. We watched this. We finished this. It's on Hulu. We watched it on Disney Plus in Italy, because that's where Hulu stuff ends up here. It's called, now, the title sounds more grim than it actually is.
It does. I've never heard of this show.
It's called How to Die Alone. It's a comedy series. Created and starring Natasha Rothwell. I believe they were in another popular TV show. that I want to say White Lotus season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I read, and it's this really lovable series. It's 10 episodes. It basically follows a woman who has never been in love, has never really traveled, has never really experienced life outside of work and her neighborhood. And after a near-death experience where she's assembling a closet, the equivalent, it's not called IKEA, it's called something else, but she's assembling the equivalent of an IKEA closet by herself in her apartment. And she's distracted, and the closet falls on her and knocks her unconscious. And she almost dies. And a neighbor finds her, and she goes to the ER, and she has this near-death experience. And she realizes that now it's her time to actually live a real life, sort of like a second chance type thing. Now she's a black woman, strapped for cash, barely making it to the end of the month with a job as those people that sort of transport your luggage on a tiny car at airports. I don't
know what you would call that job, but it's the baggage handler, I guess, maybe.
But with a little like golf cart type thing.
I know what you're. Exactly.
She does that at JFK in New York.
Okay,
and so it's this sort of combination of a story about self-empowerment, personal transformation, and also an office comedy style, like workplace comedy. Kind of in the style of like Superstore, which I mentioned a few years back.
Right.
All this to say, this is totally Jennifer's type of show, I think. It's got its serious moments, especially with Mel. She's the main protagonist, especially with Mel's relationship with her brother, and how she, she's always second guessing her new self, and being very doubtful, like, will people accept me for what I want to be now, what I'm becoming now, because they know the old me, but I don't want to be the old me anymore. And at the same time, she's got this sort of a whole thing going on with her ex, or Hex also being her former boss at JFK. It's a whole thing, very, very funny, and 10 episodes. It ends with a bit of a cliffhanger, and the Natasha Rothwell herself has said they want to do a season 2. So they're waiting for Hulu to greenlight season 2. And 10 episodes, I believe 10 or 8. Anyway, it's not a long one. Highly recommended. How to Die Alone. I really liked it.
Sounds great.
The second pick, just a quick one because I've only played 6 hours of it. I'm playing Dragon Age The Veilguard. This is my first Dragon Age game. And I find myself in this unique position where, for the first time ever, probably, I disagree with a lot of the commentary that I've heard on the Besties or Into the Aether. And I know why. Dragon Age is an action RPG set in this fantasy world. It's made by BioWare, the makers of Mass Effect, for example.
Right.
And it's this game that's been in the making for 10 years. It's, very troubled development at BioWare. It was supposed to be a live service game, and then EA, which is, they own BioWare. They saw the massive failure of BioWare's previous game, Anthem, which was supposed to be sort of BioWare's answer to Destiny, and a brand new live service game that bombed so badly, and EA decided to pivot to a traditional single-player, offline, no DLC experience, which is what Dragon Age The Veilguard is. And Dragon Age The Veilguard picks up after the events of the previous Dragon Age game, Inquisition. Now, I never played a Dragon Age game before. There's Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition. I never played Dragon Age. And I know that this game is controversial now amongst people who love Dragon Age, because it's trying to simplify the formula a lot. It's action-oriented, new, I don't want to say cartoonish design, but sort of like almost DreamWorks-y style design. And it's very different, apparently, from the previous games. And if you are a hardcore fan of Dragon Age, you're probably looking at the Veilguard and me like, what have they done here? Like, it's too simple. It's trying to please everybody. And the thing is, this is exactly why this game is working so well for me. And I don't always get that feeling of when I put down a game, I continue to think about the game.
Yeah.
I'm getting that feeling more with Dragon Age than I am with Metaphor, for example. Like I am, like right now, I cannot wait to play Dragon Age again.
Where are you playing it?
I started playing on my Legion Go with the eGPU. However, and this is a bit of a future conundrum for NPC, Sylvia complained about the fan noise of my Legion Go. And that puts a bit of an obstacle in my plans to play games at maximum graphical fidelity while also being in the bedroom. Because I mean, and I need to do more tests. I need to see if the Legion Go, if I put the TDP down to quiet 8 watts instead of 30 watts, will it be enough with the eGPU connection, or will it throttle? That's my concern. But yeah, tonight I will try something else. I will try the much quieter Steam Deck at low settings with FSR for frame generation. I will try that. I think the game is Steam Deck verified, so I think at low settings you will be able to play at 30 FPS. And I mean, even at low settings, I tried like 2 minutes. This game is gorgeous. Like, it looks incredible. At ultra settings with ray tracing, it looks incredible. But even at low settings, because the art direction is so good, like the colors, the general aesthetic, the setting is so well done. It's so tasteful. It looks nice even on the Steam Deck at low settings. So that's what I will try. We're going to talk this game, I think, at some point more in depth here on Unwind, or maybe on NPC if we start talking more about games in the future. I've only played 6 hours. I'm not even at the end of Act 1. But so far, I'm really liking it because it introduces somebody like me who has zero knowledge of Dragon Age and zero sort of past baggage with Dragon Age. It's a new game for me. It's a new franchise, and it really works. It's fun. The combat reminds me of God of War in a way. Really, really fun so far.
Well, that's really intriguing to me because I know nothing about Dragon Age. It's not a game I've ever played either.
I think more than Metaphor, John, this is a game you would actually like because it's mission based. At least so far.
I like action RPGs more than
it's action RPG. You can pause during the action to quickly issue orders. It looks great. It's available everywhere. The story is easy to pick up. It's this new flavor of Dragon Age is not as heavy on the sort of Baldur's Gate audience, like people who are really into Western style RPGs. I think more than Metaphor, this is a game you would appreciate.
All right. Well, I'm looking for something to pick up because that sounds good. I'm going to give it a try. I think Mike Hurley told us that he's been enjoying it as well.
It's fun.
So.
It's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, very good. Very good. All right. Well, I have a pretty quick pick for you, Federico. This is a 10-year-old cartoon on Hulu. And here in America, Hulu is part of Disney Plus now too. So you can watch it there. I believe at least one article I read said it's on HBO Max as well, although the article was a little bit older. So whether that's true anymore, I don't know. But it's called Over the Garden Wall, and it's by Patrick McHale. And the reason this got onto my radar is that for the 10th anniversary, which was just a couple of weeks ago, they produced a stop action motion 3-minute video that's on YouTube. And I read about it in Polygon and it looked kind of cool. And I thought, I'm going to watch this video. So I watched it the other night and was very intrigued by it because I didn't even know this at the time, but Patrick McHale has worked on Adventure Time, which is a very strange cartoon that was on the Cartoon Network that is very hard to describe what it is exactly. But Over the Garden Wall has a little bit of that vibe too, if you're familiar with Adventure Time. It's about 2 half-brothers, one who's like a moody teenager and one who's a very young child who wears a teapot on his head like a hat. And they're lost in the woods in a place called the Unknown, which is just a forest. And they meet a series of creatures. The youngest boy befriends a frog. They meet a talking bluebird named Beatrice. They meet a woodsman who is voiced by Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future and many other things, of course. And the older of the 2 boys is voiced by Elijah Wood. And it's just 10 episodes, some of them as short as like 11 minutes long, but they have this really interesting mood to them that feels very much like the fall. And having watched a few of these episodes, I started researching it online and realizing that this has a real cult following of people who will watch it every single fall, right around Halloween, 1st of November, as kind of a seasonal transition thing, because it takes place in a kind of a creepy environment. There's a beast in the woods. The boys are lost. They're trying to get back home. It's the fall, and it has just the feel of the fall, which, we kind of started the episode talking about the fall and how much I like the season. And this really kind of got me in the mood for the fall. And it is a Cartoon Network show that was from 2014. And now you can stream it on Hulu. And nice. I highly recommend it. And I would look for I would start maybe with the stop motion animation video that they did on YouTube. It's just like 3 minutes long, but it does give you kind of a sense for what this is like. Although the show itself is not stop motion animation. It's just regular animation. But I had a great time with it. And I think the reason they did stop motion animation is because Patrick McHale worked on Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio movie.
Yeah.
And so he got the itch to do more stop motion animation. And that's why they did this for the 10th anniversary of the show.
All right. Very nice.
All right, everybody. That's it for this week's Mac Stories Unwind. You can find us at macstories.net. You can also find us on Mastodon. Just go to viticci.macstories.net or johnvorhees.macstories.net to follow us there. And we're on Threads and Instagram. Federico's at Viticci. That's VITICCI. And I'm at John Voorhees. JOHNVOORHEES. Talk to you next week, Federico.
Ciao, John.